Hi, I'm Deb Karash, and this is the little black block. Today I'm going to show you a few different ways to use the little black block. The block has a flat side for flattening and stamping and texturing, and then it has some dapping spots in it, and it has a swage spot, a V-block. On the edge of the block, there's this curved surface. If you want to form all the way around something, it gives you two sides to do that. So you can use it for a lot of different forming methods. And then also there's the little steel cone, which is the really special part, and that is what we will be using to rivet. So let's get started. We're going to start with flattening a piece of metal, and I want to texture it, so I need to flatten it first. So I'm going to take my non-marring hammer, and the little black block is a non-marring surface, so it's not going to leave any marks in your metal when you hammer it. Okay. So I've flattened my metal, and now I'm going to use a texturing hammer to make some texturing here. So the little black block is firm enough to give you enough support underneath your metal to make good marks, just like a steel block. So just like that. The other thing that the little black block is great for is stamping. It just acts the same way as when you're texturing, and there you go, stamps. Now the other thing that it's great for is when you want to do a little bit of forming. So I want to take this little flower that I've cut out, and I'm just going to give it a little volume because I don't like things flat. You can ask any of my students, I don't like flat. So I'm just going to use a wooden dapping tool because it's a non-marring surface, and I've got texture in that piece and I don't want to lose my texture. And there I've got a nice little flower shape. If you've got a long shape that you want to form, you can just lay it into the swage area, and you can take that same dapping tool or a piece of wooden dowel, just lay it in there, and then you get a nice shape, nice curve. It's really great for anything that's long and skinny. So now I'm going to show you how I make a flower petal. I've cut out this shape, and I'm going to give these petals some shape. So I'm going to set it into the V-block area, just like that. And I'm going to use the wedge portion of my non-marring hammer. And just like that, I've got some shape to my petals. Now I want to form that petal a little bit just so that it rolls down gently. So on the edge of the block, there's this curved surface. It goes around two sides of the block. If you want to form all the way around something, it gives you two sides to do that. So it's going to push the end of it just past that roll. And so then that just makes my petals just a little bit more interesting. You can see that they've got a curve this way and this way. So that makes it really nice and natural looking and pretty. Then, when I get those all finished, I'm going to take the other portion that I'm going to layer over the top of it because I'm going to rivet all this together at the end. And then we'll have a complete flower. I won't have to do any soldering, and I won't use any other forming tools, just the block. So now I am loading my rivets, and if you've ever taken one of my workshops, you know that I rivet as much as possible. I solder very little. All right, so once we've got everything formed and in the shape that we wanted and dapped to the volume that we like, then we're going to start riveting. So I line it up on that little cone. The cone has a little divot in the top that holds the head of the rivet. And if you use much bigger rivets, you can take a ball burr and you can make that divot bigger if you need to. Sitting in that little divot, now I'm just going to cut it flush, and I'm going to take you can either use a hammer like this, or I do most of my riveting with a hammer hand piece. And so I'm just going to start the tool. I'm going to set it right on there. Okay? Then I've got my center of my flower that I'm going to load up. I'm going to feed some beads onto my rivet. I'm going to put it through the center of my little flower. Then I'm going to feed my bail onto the back. And I'm going to come in and rivet that. And there it is. I've got a nice pendant. I hope that you found the little black block something that will work for you. You can order it on my website at debkarash.com. And if you found this information helpful, please hit like and possibly subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you.